February 23rd. Today is a shot day. I weighed myself this morning and I was 240.2. I didn't take a picture of my last one. I think I was 241 the last time. So slightly down, but it's negligible at this stage, as it has been for a while. So I went to take my shot today and I took my pen out, and I have my pens labeled so I know what's inside the pens. And when I took the cap off of my pen, I had so much liquid left in my vial. I was like, what the hell? Because we had this whole conversation last time about how my pen said 7.5 instead of 10, and how I had just like a little baby bit of liquid left for today. And suddenly I have all this more. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. So then I went to my fridge and I looked through all my pens, and I had another pen in there for Tirzepatide that was 7.5 milligrams is what it says on the outside. And so I took the cap off that one, had maybe one dose left. So yeah, what happened was I had two pens in my fridge, both for Tirzepatide. One was 7.5 milligrams, one was 10 milligrams. Apparently I thought that I had used up the rest of my 7.5 milligrams. And so I started an entirely new vial in which I was going to be doing 10 milligrams each time. So last week when I thought I took 10, I had taken 7.5. So I still had a little bit left of the 7.5 today. I tossed it. That leads me to my next point. I did not realize, so there's so many things that I like about the version 1, the V1 pens, that I like over the V2, which is the one I've been using, is the V2s. The V2s have the little spring cap on it. For folks who don't like to see getting injected, when they go to put it down, the spring cap goes up, so you're not supposed to be able to see the needle like injecting yourself. But today I had to take out the cartridge for my 7.5 milligram Tirzepatide that I was just trashing the rest of it. It doesn't have the slits in the plasticky, I don't have a pen in here to show you. I'm too lazy to go grab one. So when you put the cartridge, you put it in that clear thing and you twist it onto the pen, and that's where like the needle goes, right? In the V2s, there are slits on either side of the plastic that the cartridge gets placed into. The V1s don't have that. It's solid plastic all around. So I'm like, how am I supposed to get the cartridge out? Because there's nothing, now that I think about it, maybe I could have put my pinky in the end of it and like dragged it out somehow. But I was like trying to push down through the top, like where the rubber stopper part is. And I mean, my fingers are not gigantic, but they're not super small. So I was able to get it to move like a tiny little bit. And I'm like, how am I supposed to get this out? So the way I ended up doing today was, the pen tips, the insulin pen tips, they've got two caps on them. They've got like an outer cap, and then they have an inner one that just protects the needle. So I twisted it back on the cartridge, took the outer cap off, untwisted the needle, inverted it so that the needle still had the needle cap on. Then I used that to push down. That popped the cartridge out. And then I had to like delicately put the outer cap back on. It was a pain in the ass. I know how to do it now, but yeah. So that ends the story of why I had so little material left in my pen, because I used the 7.5 instead of the 10 milligrams. Oh well. I'm supposed to take my Cagrilintide shot today. I'm still doing that every 7 days, even though I'm on every 5 days with the Tirzepatide. And I think I have to make up a new vial of that today. I used the last one last week. So I'll be putting that into a pen. I was just taking it with a syringe out of the vial every time, and that was a pain in the butt. And you're never quite sure if you're getting what you think you are getting. Because sometimes when you have the vial and you have the syringe, and so you're taking the liquid out of the vial via the syringe, sometimes air gets in there, and so you think that you're getting the right dosage amount, but then when you actually go to purge the air out of it, then suddenly instead of having the 25 units that you thought you were getting, you're actually getting 20 units. So it's more precise using an actual pen to fill a cartridge, put it in the pen, purge the air from it. And that way, when you go, 10 units, you're getting 10 units, whatever dosage that might be milligram wise, you're getting 10 units or 20 units or whatever. I had my meeting with my testosterone doctor, and they upped my testosterone to 2 clicks. I was just doing 1 click, doing cream like that, but she said, let's go ahead and up it to 2 clicks a night. So I do 1 click, and then I rub that on my inner thigh, and then I do another click and I rub that on my other inner thigh. Hopefully that'll help, like with libido type issues. It may potentially help kickstart some weight loss too. It seems like, even though I'm not losing weight, I feel like I have slightly less inflammation in my face. It's not quite as, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not like an amazing transformation or anything. And I think I told you guys before, we upped my estrogen. It was like 0.25, and now it's like 0.35 or 0.375, something like that for the patch. And that gets changed twice a week. Actually had a period just on the tail end of it. It's kind of crazy. Haven't had one since October. So I'm not sure if it's coincidence, or if my estrogen was low to the point where it was like, all right, no more periods for you. And now because my estrogen has been increased, it's now being like, oh, okay, we are actually still functional. I don't know. I don't know. I guess the real thing will be to see if I get it again next month. Because like I said, it's been since October. So it's been a few months. And I don't love it. It's never a fun thing to be a woman and have to deal with this monthly. But I feel like if the increased estrogen is what has caused a menstrual cycle to happen, then I probably was quite low on estrogen, right? That's the only thing I can think of. And it's good for your body to have appropriate levels of estrogen. It's so crazy. If you guys are at all of an age, I mean, what am I? I'm 20, I'm 44. I was born in 80, so I have to look at the year sometime and do a little bit of the math to figure out how old I am. So 44. I've been dealing with symptoms, I think, for multiple years now. I didn't have the hot flashes for multiple years. That's a fairly recent development within the last year and a half, maybe. But I've had other things, like my periods have been kind of wacky for a while. The weight gain, like there's a number of things. And so many times doctors will say, well, it can't be menopause. It can't be perimenopause. You're only 38, you're only 40, you're only 42. And I think that's a bunch of crap. I think that there is no one size fits all of when you're expected to be in menopause or perimenopause. I think if you're noticing symptoms, like maybe loss of libido, and there's not other outside factors, vaginal dryness, your tissue is thinning, clitoral atrophy is a thing. Little things like that, get yourself tested. A lot of times though, gynecologists are not menstrual professionals, professionals. And so they'll be like, oh no, you're fine. Don't just take their word for it. Just because your hormone levels might be a certain area, what they should be doing is treating to the symptom, not to your hormone levels. So having a hormone panel done is a good baseline, but it's not the end all be all. Like even if your numbers look fine, like my numbers when I went in this past May, they looked fine. Like maybe some things were slightly low, but they weren't like concerning low, but I still was having all these symptoms. And so it really ticked me off when my gynecologist was just like, well, your panels came back fine. So there's really nothing that I could see that we would want to do for you. And then I went to this MIDI Health online, who are menopause professionals, theoretically. And they're just like, no, your hormones can even fluctuate day to day. So maybe the day that they actually took your blood, you were having a slightly upswing, whereas typically maybe you're a little down, or your hormones fluctuate and you could be down for a while and then be up. It makes no sense for me that if you're having symptoms of something that they don't want to treat the symptoms just because, well, we have to go from these arbitrary numbers that potentially don't mean anything. And also, so many gynecologists are hesitant to give hormone replacement therapy to people who have a history or a family history of cancer, like breast cancer and stuff, based on like one faulty report from back in the 80s, I think it was, that has been since debunked. Like the science is just not quite where it should have been. But, the news picked up on it, doctors ran with it. And so for years now, women have been denied because their doctors are like, well, you're at risk for cancers, when it's not necessarily a causation. There might be a correlation, but there's not necessarily this will cause that. So I think it's unfortunate that so many women suffer. And if it was men that were suffering, I mean, I don't like to get on like my whole men high horse, but that if it was a man problem, this stuff would not even be a question. They would have stuff figured out right quick. And I think it's so stupid that they're like, well, you're a woman. This is how it is. Or, your periods are meant to hurt. No, it's not. Women are not meant to be racked out in pain, 3 to 5 days out of the month. I was lucky that I never had that experience, but I had friends who it hit them hard. And that's not normal. It's not normal for your body to do that. So for so many medical professionals, even women medical professionals, to be like, that's just how it is. That's your lot in life as a woman. Fuck that. That's ridiculous. So all that to say, if you're at all experiencing symptoms, you should get yourself checked out. If you're not getting the answers that you feel are right for you, go to someone else, go to a specialist, go online. There's plenty of places that would be willing to help. All right, end rant. With regard to health, I've been feeling fine. No palpitations the last couple days, so that's great. I'm not sure, again, if it's I don't know if it's a hormonal thing. I don't know if it's a cortisol thing. I can't say it's a food thing necessarily, because quite honestly, I've not been great about not eating carbohydrates for these last couple weeks. And I feel like I'm eating just as many now as I was when I was having just heart palpitations that started at that concert a couple weeks back, a week ago, week and a half, whatever. I have no idea. I don't know. But I'm just grateful that I haven't really been experiencing them the last couple days. It's been nice. I haven't really been having that allergy, back of the throat closed feeling for the past few days. So I've not been taking antihistamines for that. I've just been kind of playing it by ear, see how that feels. And so far it's fine. I've been sleeping through the night lately. That's unusual for me. Like maybe I'll wake up at 5, but I'm able to go back to sleep. Typically I go to bed like 11:30, and then I'll wake up sometimes at 1, sometimes at 3, and I have to go to the bathroom. I have to pee. That has not been the case. Like the last 3 nights, I think, I've just slept straight through, and I have to pee like a racehorse in the morning, but I'm not getting woken up. So am I drinking less water throughout the day or later at night? Is it, so the progesterone pill that I'm taking is supposed to help with sleep. Well, I've been taking that for months now, and I've still had been getting up in the middle of the night to pee. Is it because I have a higher estrogen patch, which is now working better with the progesterone? So all together, it's working better. I don't know. But that's kind of nice. My dreams are weird as heck, but they've always been weird as heck. And also, I've been watching some weird movies lately, right? Like that Wolfman movie. I think I told you guys about that one last time. Last night, I watched a movie with my husband called The Gorge. It's got Miles Teller and the girl who was in The Queen's Gambit. She's been in a couple other things. She's got a very elfin face. She's cute. The whole premise of that one is there are these 2 highly trained sharpshooters, and there's this gorge, and you've got an east tower, you got a west tower, and they're never supposed to interact with each other, and they're supposed to just monitor this really long strip. It's in like a demilitarized zone kind of. And they're trying to prevent the stuff that's in the gorge from getting out. That's their whole, and they're there for a year, and then they get a replacement, I guess, every year. So, and then of course they start talking to each other, and then it's a little bit of romance, a little bit of suspense. It's really good. I would say if you're looking for a kind of an entertaining, interesting show, their chemistry plays well together. The storyline itself was interesting. The Gorge. I watched a show with my husband called Clean. It's got Adrian Brody in it. I wanted to say it's from like 2021 or something. It's from a couple years ago. He plays a garbage man with a checkered background who cleans up the streets of, I don't know if it's New Jersey or New York, where it is, both literally and figuratively. That one, I saw a short of it, either on Facebook Reels or like a YouTube short, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. It's definitely a very slow setup. It's got a slow middle. It's got a lot of action at the very end. I mean, it wasn't bad. I don't regret having seen it, but it's not necessarily one that I would say, oh man, you guys got to get out there and see that, you know? Like The Gorge, I would say, get out there and see that. But clean, if you wanted to watch it, cool. If not, you're not missing a whole heck of a lot. I watched Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy. It's the 4th Bridget Jones installment. That one was actually quite cute. I cried a number of times in it. The premise of that one is her husband, Mr. Darcy, has passed away 4 years ago. She has 2 children, and she's just kind of starting to get out there and date, that kind of stuff. And they do callbacks to Colin Firth. He actually was in it. I thought that maybe he wasn't going to be in it at all, and maybe they would just do like clips, like show memories of clips of last week. But no, he's full on in it, just very small parts in it. It was good. I thought it was funny. One thing that I really didn't like, and this is just such a small thing, was her hair. Her hair drove me nuts. And she had fairly good hair in the first couple. This one, her hair is like super thin and ratty. It's like she doesn't brush it or comb it, which I know her character's supposed to have depression, kind of. So I get that, but she wears it like in this little side ponytail thing. I don't know. It seemed like a weird fit for her character. So every time they had her hair like that, or if you watch the movie, you'll know what I mean. You'll be like, probably. Maybe I'm just shallow and I'm like, fix her hair. But all in all, if you liked any of the other Bridget Jones movies, then you would probably enjoy it. I thought it was pretty good. So that's basically it. I'm feeling fine. Hormones apparently are doing what they need to do. Still waiting for that really big libido boost. I did talk to, I think maybe I mentioned this last time, I did talk to my menopause person, the testosterone lady, and she said that they could get me the non-menthol version. So I'm still waiting on that. She made it sound like she was going to reach out to them and let them know. But she also mentioned me calling them and telling them, hey, you guys sent me kind of a spicy version. And so they're supposed to send me another one. I don't see them doing that on their own, quite honestly, because businesses are in it to make money. And so I will probably have to call them because I have not heard anything on their end about sending a replacement to that cream, that libido cream. So I'll do that maybe tomorrow. I'll have to put that on my calendar. All right, guys, I will see you in 5 days. Hopefully we will have a weight loss. But if not, like I said, 40 pounds less than where I originally started. I'm okay with that. I would love it to be 80 pounds. Hopefully I'll get there at some point. Maybe with exercise. Maybe with food. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. All right. Bye.